Detective Comics number 439, coming out in March of 1974. I was around 8, maybe 9 whenever this came out, but I remember it well. It was part of the DC 100-page Super Spectacular, and they were only 50 cents. And you think, wow, that's like nothing today, but it was, if I can remember right, back then comics were either still 20 cents each or they had just changed to 25 cents. Well, this is the price of 2 comic books, but it's 96 pages on the interior, and it had some ads, but not a whole lot. There's one about karate, and there's not a whole lot of other ads in here. There's a few. There's a handful. It seems like there's more toward the back. Like there, you got your Evil Knievel ad in the back, and your order your X-ray specs and your giant 7-foot life-size ghost and stuff like that. But mostly it is story. There's a ad for like toys and stuff, and there was even a house ad showing different comics that were available from DC that month. And of course I can't find it again, but anyway, it's mostly story in here. You've got, I would say, a good 92 pages worth of story in here, and the 100 is the cover, the inside and back and the back cover and the front cover, and that gives you the 100 pages that it's touting right here. And these were awesome. I was mostly a Marvel reader whenever I was a kid, and they had their own version. They had something called Giant Size Spider-Man, Giant Size Avengers, Giant Size Defenders, and that type of thing. But during that same time period, DC was putting out their 100-page spectaculars, and this had a lead story which features Batman, of course. And these are the one. There was other ones. Superman had, it was across the line. Superman had the 100-pagers, and different other characters had 100-page. Justice League, I got a few of the Justice League of America. I have a few of those, but it was the Batman stories that were always my favorite. And this was an awesome cover here. This was a cover drawn by the outstanding Jim Aparo, I believe. This is Jim Aparo. I could be wrong. I do not think it's Neil Adams, but I could be wrong. If anybody knows, the way he handles all of this stuff back here reminds me of Neil Adams, and that looks like a Neil Adams character there. Now I'm going to change my mind and say this is Neil Adams. I'm going to have to look it up. But Aparo had a very similar style as Adams. But Aparo was doing during this time, he was doing some awesome work on Batman, on Brave and the Bold. So this also had a lot of backup stories here. Featuring different characters, mostly from the Golden Age, but some from the Silver Age. And there's one in here called the all-new Manhunter that was drawn by Walt Simonson, that was debuting as a backup feature in this book here. And it was a contemporary. I mean, it was literally debuting during that time. So anyway, I wanted to go over the first story with you here. It's called Night of the Stalker, and it was a really good Batman story. Yes, I have some four-legged friends here that are they're helping me out. Sorry if I cough. But this story is a unique type. At least for me, it was the first time I'd read a Batman story that didn't have any supervillains in it. There wasn't any Joker or Mr. Freeze or Catwoman or Clayface or Penguin or any of those guys. This was Batman taking vengeance out on some bank robbers, and the whole story was about his pursuit. That's where we get the night of the Stalker, Night of the Hunter, or whatever. I think that was a movie that came out around that time, Night of the Hunter. And the script is done by Steve Englehart, who had either he had just finished a run on Captain America at Marvel, or was still in the middle of doing it. How he was working for both companies, I guess every now and then they'd let somebody do that. But anyway, Steve Englehart wrote the script, and the art, which I really like, but it was done by a guy who I know him, but I just don't have that many comics of him. It's Sal Amendola. The other comics that I have that are by him was a comic called The Phoenix, and that came out from Atlas Comics, and that came out like a year, I think, after this. But this says Vin and Sal Amendola. I guess they were two brothers. It said Vin and Sal Amendola, plot and pencils. So I don't know if Vin was his brother or cousin. I don't know what he could have been, but he got credit here. And this is the first and only time I've seen Vin Amendola getting credit for working in any comic. So I'm going to assume that he was part of the plot, and then Sal Amendola did the pencils. Of course, it could be a mixture of both. You know, they both might have been able to have worked on this, but really good. I love the way he draws Batman. I love the way he draws the scallops on the cape, and how it's flowing, but not really. It's not following any real logic, but it's as far as like if he was actually wearing a real cape. But that doesn't matter. This is Batman, and he's an iconic figure. And it starts off with a bank robbery in progress, and of course, it's basically, this is mirroring Bruce Wayne as a kid, seeing his parents get shot before him. This little kid immediately gets orphaned, except this time it's his mom that gets shot first. And of course that catches the Batman's attention. Batman's up on the rooftop, looking down, and then here's the guy. He's like all of a sudden just standing there, and he says, "I didn't mean to do it, but I had to. She was in my way. She kept screaming." And this is the husband saying, "You rotten scum, you killed my wife." And then of course, this is Batman. Now, this is weird. I don't know if I have ever seen another drawing of Batman where you can actually see his eyes, his pupils inside his cowl there. But there it is, right there. And of course, the guy in the getaway car, he opens the door and say, "What you waiting for? Shut up and shoot the clown. We have to get out of here." And he shoots him, but you see it's off panel. And then Batman. It says here sometimes the script doesn't exactly line up with with what's going on in the panels here. Even as the Batman launches himself toward the bloody tableau like the predator he is, well, you see him here. He's not. It's like right before he's launching. He's not really launching. I guess they did that so it could help frame this, but I don't know. That was just a decision that was kind of a little bit of a strange juxtaposition there. So we're getting a flashback from Bruce's memory from whenever he witnessed his parents getting killed, and what eventually turned him into the Batman. I think it's cool that they did the shadow of Bruce against the wall, and it's the Batman's face there. That's really cool. I've seen that. I've seen other things done similarly to that, but this is probably the first time that I in a timeline that I've seen something like that happen. And then you get a good close-up shot. He played a lot. He's kind of like taking a cue from Neil Adams in as far as how he's telling the story. And then you see him launch himself from the building down onto these guys. And he catches one of them, pummels him, and then he sees the car going by. Now this is the early '70s. He still had his Batmobile. But he didn't like get in his Batmobile to pursue these guys. Instead, he jumps up on a building, jumps over a ledge. He's basically heading them off at the pass, kind of a thing. That's a really cool scene right there, where he's jumping from one building to another. And then he's not even using his like bat rope or anything. He's just bouncing from one rooftop to another, and he's really cool overhead shots. I mean, that's like almost directly overhead, and you're seeing it from behind, as if you were a few floors up from where Batman is jumping off. But he catches them, bounces off of a newsstand. the top of a newsstand so he can land on the roof of the car. And it says that they don't even notice. He says he's so quiet, it's letting him land atop the car with no more noise than a cat. Well, I got a cat here that's making a lot of noise and she's sliding down my table. So, all right, and then you have the there's three of them, I think. Yeah, there's three of them in this. Why'd you have to shoot that guy, Cannon? Why not? He could have described Rick. Besides, Rick started it. What difference does it make anyway? Life's only a game, and losers get eliminated. Be happy, kid. Be happy, kid. We're winners. Happy? I never agreed to play any game with murder in it. Like it, and this kid's got a bow tie like Archie. Be happy, kid. We're winners. Happy. I never agreed to play any game with murder in it. Like it or not, you're playing now, so clam up. I'm happy, and I don't want any moaning bringing me down. Yeah, I'll bet you're ecstatic, you cold calculating. And then he goes, "Oh my God, look at that shadow." They're out in the woods now, and there's a stone. I guess a stone, like. Fence row, I guess, that's on beside the road, and he sees the Batman's shadow, and he said, "The Batman's on top of this car," and he goes, "This is a real effective." He screech. He's putting on the brakes really hard. He said, "What are you handing me, kid? There's no one here." And that sudden stop would have tossed anybody on his nose. But I swear, this guy's wearing a fedora like it's the 1950s. I guess maybe men were still wearing fedoras back. I don't remember it, but I'm from the South, and it was a whole lot different. They were wearing hats, but they sure weren't fedoras. But I swear, there on the wall. Now that is an awesome shot of Batman crouched there basically like an animal, kind of like Black Panther almost, you know. You don't see a whole lot of, at least I don't remember seeing a whole lot of Batman drawn this way. Love the way he handles his cape, though. And of course, the next scene, you see them all shooting at him, and you get the bang bang kablam, and then of course he's not there. You don't see what they're shooting at, you just see them all shooting, and then of course he's gone. And this is just great storytelling here. And of course they're running back to the car. They said, "We got to get out of here. We killed him. I know we killed him. With him, you don't know anything. But until we do, you've got one thing right, Cannon, a fast retreat. Then let's go. Blast it. Turn the key and let's get out of here." Kid, the keys, they're gone. What are you talking about? They have to be. Shut up, both of you. Look. And then they see a scene of Batman. This is what's called a beat right here. And you see, it's like a scene from a movie. You know, you see him jangling the keys, saying, "I've got you," and then he just drops them on the ground, like daring them to come and get the keys. And that's basically what they're saying. He's just standing there, like he's saying, "Come get the keys, I dare you." And of course, he's standing. Then you see he's standing on the edge of a ledge, and one of the guys just gets mad and goes running after him. And here you can see this page is designed so. It's like ahead of its time. This is like something you'd see out of I don't know, like an Image comic or something. And it looks like the Batman is an actual bat or some bird of prey. She wants to help. That's corn cob, by the way. And he's like a bat that's lifting this guy up off of the ledge. And it just freaks them out. It freaked me out too. But I just love the way that's drawn there. It's like he's just a giant bat, you know, there himself. And of course, they get the keys and take off in it, and he's like sitting on the ledge. So he hadn't killed anybody, you know, because he's the Batman. He don't kill, but he sure they're going to wake up with a headache in the morning. Anyway. So they get to their hideout, I guess, and basically saying, "Don't worry, we made it. You know, we made it here." And it's the kid he's saying, "Stop shaking, kid. All our troubles are behind us. Think of the money, and only a two-way split now. Money's no good to you in hell, and Batman is a creature of hell. We never really saw his corpse, you know." No, and I've never really seen the Taj Mahal, but it still exists, and I'll guarantee, blam, That's not a gunshot. That's the door flinging open and Batman coming in. And of course, you get it's odd because this was all in one scene. Batman walks in, and this one guy jumps out the window, crashes through the window. Batman goes after him. You see that he's going through the mud because you see it on the bottom of his boots, and it's mud that's so well, he's going into, it's like a pond, but it's real muddy, muddy there. And it says here, criminals are a superstitious, cowardly lot, so my disguise must be able to strike terror into their hearts. Not even the fledgling Batman, murmuring those fateful words so many years ago, could know how correct time would prove them. Get away, get away. Why are you doing this? I didn't kill anybody. Blast it, say something. I haven't killed anyone, I tell you. And look, he's picking up a rock here. He said, but I will before letting any spook take me in. The caped crime fighter sloshes heavily into the chill waters, borne steadily down. You couldn't leave it alone. Kept chasing us, driving us. This is my last chance of getting free of you. And I'm making it good. Struggle all you want, spook. I couldn't escape you. You won't escape me. Won't escape me. And then, I did it. And he's coming back up. I did it. The Batman is finally gone. He's saying it in an elation and stuff. This is a very well rendered face here. And really, it's a really good, this whole page is just laid out really good. This whole story is told extremely well visually. And he says here, everybody tried, but only I succeeded. All the big guys, the Joker, Two-Face, they tried to be clever, but they're two hands and a rock. But these two hands and a rock did what they couldn't. I thought Cannon would be a hero, but I'll be. And then you see the hands reaching up. You see Batman's hands reaching up and grabbing his jacket, pulling him down. And then, this doesn't even have any, it doesn't need it. Doesn't need any dialogue, word balloons, just a onomatopoeia there with plock. And then, of course, the kid that has the bow tie on, who didn't really want to, sounded like he didn't really want to be there to start with. He said, stop where you are. He's the one that's got the gun. He said, stop where you are, Batman. I mean it. Stop. Maybe you can't be killed, but I'll have to try. You hear? This gun is loaded. If you force me, I'll shoot. I don't want to go to jail. Never wanted to get mixed up in murder, but push me and I can't. For God's sake, Batman, get it over with. Anything, only end it. Suddenly, like a dynamited dam, the hate, that's kind of a weird, like a dynamited dam. Suddenly, like a dynamited dam, the hate that has choked the soul of this fearsome nemesis, this man beneath the cowl, spirals away into oblivion. Thoughts beyond the night stalker. No, thoughts beyond the night stalking once more reach him, as do sounds. He has done his dark work. He has stalked vicious men with equal viciousness to strike terror into their hearts. But this sobbing boy is not one of those men. He does not deserve the Batman's justice, and the creature of the night seeks the shadows. This is the last page. This is the last one where he's back in Wayne Manor. Actually, it's not the manor; it's the Wayne Foundation building, because during the 70s he moved like an entire. He lived at like in the top of a penthouse, and it was the Wayne Foundation building in the middle of Gotham City. I don't know how long that lasted, but that was what was going on in the 70s. This was after Robin had left him to go to college, where with the frosty birth of day, this haunter of darkness dies, leaving only a weary Bruce Wayne. As he lifts the cowl from his drawn face, his eyes automatically rise, and suddenly sorrow explodes within him. Time heals all wounds, they say. And in truth, Bruce Wayne long ago learned to live with the agonizing fact of his parents' demise. But when he thinks of the boy crime left sobbing on the street at dusk, and the other boy crime left sobbing before the Batman's vengeance hours later, he remembers a third boy left sobbing so many years ago, and in his gray-lit, lonely tower, for this single moment in infinity, he is that boy again. And you see the newspaper that's there, it says Savage Batman nabs hoodlums, child orphaned. And so that's basically, Batman's an orphan. Robin was an orphan. The whole Batman mythos is centered around orphans, mostly taken by becoming an orphan by a crime being committed. But anyway, this was a 16-page story, and just one of the most awesome stories. And I'm sorry if I spoiled it for you, but this is like, I don't know how many years old. Is it 50? Long time ago that this comic came out. But anyway, I wanted to share that with you. And also, all of these other strips in here, I'm going to save those for another time, but they're all good. This is a Gil Kane Adams story. This is a Joe Kubert Hawkman story from the 40s, I guess, and this is from the 60s. And then after that, I think there's another no, holy smoke, I gotta read this sometime. This is Dr. Fate, the original Dr. Fate, and this stuff freaked me out as a kid. Loved it. And yeah, this came out in the sometime in the early 40s. And then there's some more. There's a Batman and Robin story from like the time of the Batman TV series, and An Elongated Man by Carmine Infantino, written by Gardner Fox. There's another one in here, yeah, Kid Eternity, and that came out in the Golden Age as well, but it was not published by DC. It was published by a company called Quality Comics, who got bought out by DC. It's where we get Uncle Sam and the Freedom Fighters, who I love, and I'll do some more stories some more videos about in the future. But and then the last story in here is about Manhunter, and he deserves his own. He deserves his own series of videos where I talk about it. This is some of Walt Simonson's earliest work as a professional in comics. But yeah, DC 100-page super spectaculars, definitely worth checking out, looking up whenever you can. These were comics at their finest whenever I was a kid, and I always loved them. So anyway, thanks for watching, and be on the lookout for some more videos like this in the future. Let me know if you like these or not. I've had good reviews, I've had bad reviews, so I'll take it all to heart. So anyway, thanks again for watching, and we'll talk to you later. Take care. Bye.